Welcome to Quality Branding Hub. The channel is for the quality control engineer, site engineer, and the civil engineer who are working in the construction field. In this channel, we are dealing with anything and everything which is required to get success in the construction. Today also, I'm going to discuss about a finishing item, that is tiles. So, especially today, I'll discuss about the vitrified tiles. So, what is vitrified tiles? What is the code preference in India, and what is the physical and chemical properties? That all I will discuss in this video according to the IS code. So stay tuned until the end to get the full information. And if you in my channel, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get immediate notification. So without wasting time, let's jump into the subject. That today's topic is our vitrified tiles. Now for that, first we need to go. The code is Indian Standard 13712-2019. What is it saying? That code is specifying ceramic tiles definition, classification, characteristics, and marking. So this code, first we need to understand what is the definition it is mentioning. Now come here, you can see it is in clause 3.1. It is saying about the ceramic tiles. Now what is saying? Thin slab made from inorganic raw materials such as clays, silica, fluxing aids such as feldspar, coloring, and other mineral raw materials generally used as covering for floors, walls, and facade. So this thin slab made from inorganic material, that called the ceramic tiles. They are prepared by grinding, sieving, mixing, moistening, etc., and are shaped by pressing, extruding, casting, or other process. Okay, so these are the process, usually at room temperature. So they are then dried and subsequently fired at a high temperature. So this is just a glimpse of how the tiles is made. Now what is saying? Tiles may be glazed, unglazed, or in globe. They may be rectified or unrectified, and may be polished and unpolished. So there are different categories of tiles we can produce according to our requirement. What is that? Glazed, unglazed, or then rectified, unrectified, polished, or unpolished. Now depending on age, degree of verification in the water absorption may vary. So the most defining criteria is the water absorption. So according to the water absorption, the tiles category is differentiated. So what is water absorption categories? A low water absorption tile is also called porcelain tile. Okay, so if there is a low, that called the porcelain tiles. I will discuss later what is the range for the water absorption. An extremely low water absorption tile is called a fully vitrified tile. So the tiles which has the extremely low water absorption called the vitrified tiles. Now what is the range when we can call a tiles as a vitrified tiles? Now come here in this classification. So here in clause 4.2.1, tiles of very low and low water absorption, group 1A. So is water absorption if it is less than 0.08%. Less than 0.08%, it's called ceramic fully vitrified tiles. Okay, so what will be the range of the water absorption? That is very nominal, that is 0.08%. So if the tiles is belong to this category, that is fully vitrified tiles. Now what is the other categories? 0.82 to 3%. If it is in between this group, it's called ceramic porcelain tiles, and for 3 to 6% is called ceramic float tiles, and 6 to 10% it's called ceramic float tiles, and above 10% is ceramic wall tiles. So there are 5 categories. Below 0.08, that is fully vitrified. 0.8 to 3, that is porcelain tiles. 3 to 6 is the ceramic float tile. 6 to 10 ceramic float tiles. There, depending upon the requirement, it can vary, and above 10 water absorption, that is ceramic wall tiles. So now today's topic is about the vitrified tile. That means our water absorption moisture capacity, water absorption capacity less than 0.08. Why it is important? Because depending upon this there are different criteria. I will come later in the other code, but before that we need to understand another things, that is these tiles is, when you are making here, these are the categories, and our as per the categories our ceramic tiles is 0.08, and there are different size. Some is modular size and some is non-modular size. I will now go to the another code, that is 15622. What is that code? That code is pressed ceramic tiles specification. Here is the tiles. Here it is saying W is the work size and J is equal to joint width. Tiles may be like this or tiles may be like this. Here there is a spacer lugs. So this spacer lug can be there in the tiles whenever it is manufacturing. In spatial lugs projection where provided in the tiles shall normally be a 0.6 mm. These lugs on adjacent edge shall separate the tiles by a distance of not less than the specified width of the joint. So it is helping us to make the joint width throughout the area entirely smooth or the same. So here is a spatial lug is there, or sometimes there is no spatial lug. So that is also we need to check. And what is the modular size? Here we see here is the E is equal to 10%. So we will not check that one. Now what is here? You can see the modular preferred size of tiles with water absorption 6 to 10, 3 to 6, 0.8 to 0.3 and less than 0.8. So what is our criteria for the vitrified tiles? That is 0.08. So here these are the size is available in the market. M is the size, 10 by 10 is in centimeter, 10 by 10, 15 by 15 and up to 120 by 120. This size is modular size that is can be manufactured. And what is the non-modular size? That is also given in table 4. In the table 4 you can see non-modular size and our criteria E, that is water absorption less than 0.08. Here you can see there are different non-modular size can be produced. 15 by 7.5, 15.2 by 7.6, 15.2 by 15.2, 30 by 6, 30. So that can be customized as per the requirement. So it has given the provision that the modular size also can be prepared or non-modular size also can be prepared. So according to our requirement, what will be my modular size, that I need to prepare and I need to make that one as per our requirement. So we have understand what is our vitrified tiles, what is the water absorption capacity and what is the modular size and non-modular size. Now we need to know what is the properties and how we can check the tiles when it is coming to our projects or whenever we are selecting the tiles for our projects. So what is the criteria that we need to find out also. So where we can find that one? Yes, of course it is given in this code in 15622, but before that we need to understand some other category also. The see what is saying in 4.2, the surface can be smooth, profiled, wavy, decorated or finished of any other way. It can be unglazed, that I already here, the polished, semi-polished, unpolished. So according to your requirement and according to the project requirement, that can be vary as per the our project requirement. Now another thing we need to know, that is rectified or unrectified. Why? Because in the code itself, in the table when we come later, this term is there. The edges of the tile may be rectified or unrectified. Unrectified tiles that undergo no further dimensional processing after the tiles are fired. So after tiles fired or after tiles made, there are no further dimensional undergo or dimensional mechanism. But rectified tiles are tiles whose edge have been cut or ground to a precise dimension after that tiles have been fired. So simple, the rectified, that means after tiles is made, the dimension has been rectified, and unrectified is not rectified. No, why I am saying this? This is required because when I will come now, these tables where the properties is given about the vitrified tiles, is there it is mentioned what is rectified and rectified, unrectified, and according to the unrectified and rectified, their criteria is vary. So what is my Water absorption, that is zero point 0.8, less than 0.8, it is 3 to 6, so it will not valid. It's 0.8 to 3, so it is also not valid. Now this is test requirement for tiles with water absorption E less than 0.08. So this is our tiles, that's the vitrified tiles. Now we need to know one by one what is the criteria. First is the dimension and the surface quality. That is foremost criteria whenever we are receiving the tiles at the site. We need to check what is the dimension and the surface quality, because if the dimension is not proper, surface quality is not the proper, what will happen when we lay the tiles, the tile width or a tile joint will not be the smooth one or not in the straight line, so it will looks ugly, architectural finish will not achieve. So that is why it is very much important to first check the dimensions and the surface quality. So length and width, what is the length and width? The deviation in percentage of the average size of each tile, 2 or 4 sides from the work size, if it is unrectified or if it is rectified. That is why I already discussed what is rectified and what is unrectified. And here it is a nominal size, n is less than 20 centi and it is greater than 20 centi. If it is 20 centi less or equal, this table has to follow, that is column 3, and it is n is 20 or greater than 20 centi, this column 4 has to follow. And what is the test method? That is IS 13630. So how to perform the test, I will do it in the another videos. So here it is given the code and which part to follow. Now what is the diamond deviation in the percentage average size, length and width? If it is unrectified, in case of n is equal to less than 20, 0.6 and it is a 0.4 percentage, and in rectified 0.3 and 0.1. Why it is less? Because it is rectified, the dimension was already precisely rectified after it is fired, so that is why it has given the lower percentage or the acceptance criteria. But it is unrectified, it is given slightly better. Then 2 is the deviation in percentage of the average size of the tile to 4 side from the average size of the 10 test specimen, 20 or 40 side. See, the first one is the 2 or 4 side, the single one, and here we need to do first 10 tests or the average of the 10 specimen, then we need to check with the individual on a 2 or 4 side. Unrectified is a 0.5 and 0.4, and rectified 0.2 and 0.1. Now next is the thickness, the deviation in percent of the average thickness of the each tile from the work size thickness, plus minus 10 and plus minus 5. The deviation in percent, it is not the 10 centi or the 5 centi, maximum can be 10%. Now straightness of slides side, it is very important. If the tiles is not straight or it's not in the right angle, your architectural finish will not be as per your requirement. You will not get the straight line, there will be a mismatch in the line. So that is why it needs to be checked very well. The maximum deviation from straightness in percent related to the corresponding work size. If it is unrectified, 0.5%, rectified 0.3%, that is 0.3, 0.1. And another thing is rectangularity, that is very much important. Why? If it is not rectangle, correct rectangle size or the correct square size, the architectural finish will not even, we cannot lay the tiles, there will be a improper joint width, there will be a improper straight line. So that is why this rectangularity we need to check. And what is the percentage? The maximum deviation from rectangularity in percent related to the corresponding work size. If it is unrectified, 0.6 and 0.3 and 0.3 in 0.3 in case of rectified. And another thing is the surface flatness, the maximum deviation for flatness in percent, center curvature related to diagonal calculated from the work size. It is important. Why? If the surface is not flat, sometimes what is happen, the center is in up and the both side is in the flat. So what is happen, the other tiles when you are placing, the center point is not matching, there is a projection. So that is why it is important to check the surface flatness. So that is also given how much percentage, 0.75, zero point 0.5, and 0.75 and zero point 0.5, and wrappage related to diagonal calculated 0.75, 0.05. So this about the dimension and the flatness and everything. The next is physical properties. So first properties you need to check, that is water absorption. Why? According to the water absorption, the category will be changed. So you need to verify that your tiles water absorption capacity is less than 0.08. That is part 2 IS 13630, the test method. The next in modulus of rupture, average 35, individual 32 minimum. So modulus should be the Newton millimeter square or the MPa, that is average 35, and in any case the individual should not be less than 32. It can be 33, 34, but average should be 35. And breaking strength 700 Newton, minimum thickness if less than 7.5, and 1300 Newton minimum thickness is greater than 7.5. So if the tile thickness is less than 7.5, so minimum breaking strength is 700, and if the thickness is more than 7.5, the breaking strength is 1300 minimum. So here it is given part 6, that means the method of testing criteria. Now moisture expansion in millimeter 0.2 max. Scratches hardness of surface in most scales 5 is minimum. Resistance of surface abrasion of glazed tile class 1 to V, applicable for floor application only. Class 2, then coefficient of linear thermal expansion, that is important because during heat and the cold how much it will expand. So if we are not calculating the thermal expansion capacity, and if the thermal expansion capacity is not as per our requirement, what will happen during hot or cold, okay, that there will be a breakage in the joint. So that is why it need to know, and that is saying the coefficient linear thermal ambient X is 6 into 10 to the power minus 6 is maximum. Thermal shock resistance 10 cycles. Crazing resistance 4 cycle at 7.5 mm, and then impact resistance 0.55 minimum. Coefficient friction tiles intended for use floor. So whenever you need the friction, that time you need where required manufacturer to declare value required. The frost resistance if agrees in between manufacturer and the purchaser. So these two as code has given the provision that what is the requirement that to be decided by the purchaser and the manufacturer. Then resistance to deep abrasion of unglazed tiles, volume or material removed in cubic millimeter, that is 140 is maximum. And what is the bulk density? 2.2 minimum. Then chemical properties, resistance to staining, glazed tile class 1, unglazed tile class 2. It is continuing because it has given too much properties. And then resistant to household chemicals and swimming pool water cleaners except cleansing agents containing hydrofluoric acid and its compound in glazed tiles. Why? Because whenever you are cleaning the surface or you are using any chemical that can be damage the tile. So that is why resistance to household chemicals we need to check. And it is saying in glazed tile class AA and unglazed tile rectified required if agreed according to the chemical resistant class indicated by the manufacturer. So what is the class indication that you need to check? Then resistant to acid and alkalis with the exception of hydrofluoric acid and its compound. Glazed tile, see here it is saying resistant to acid and alkalis, and exception there what is given hydrofluoric acid required if agreed according to the chemical resistance class indicated by the manufacturer, required if agreed by the manufacturer. So these two also code has given the provision that what is the manufacturer is given that you need to follow and then you need to check. So these are all about the vitrified tiles. What is vitrified tiles, what is the code, what is the water absorption capacity, how it is defined with the others, and what is the physical and chemical properties, and how to check that one according to Indian standard. I have make it in details, and I hope you find it useful. And if you find it useful, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video you will get immediate notification. And without wasting your time, I'm waiting for your valuable comment so that from your valuable comment everybody will be benefited. And if you want to know anything more about quality control and construction, please let me know. I will come with more content like this. And thank you once again for watching me.